Hi ladies. So we are coming up to Christmas, and obviously on the 50 Shades of Menopause, I think it's only right that we start thinking a little bit further forward than where we are right now. Sometimes in order for us to get ourselves out of where we're currently in, we need to have a look forward, and obviously with the new year comes the idea of New Year's resolutions. Now I wanted to just give you a bit of an idea of how our psyche works in order for us to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. There are so many things out there at the moment that I know are sort of like telling you how to do this, that and the other. But I really wanted to give you, I've got a little diagram here, a little diagram as to how our headspace works and how we sort of go through things and process things and how we suddenly make decisions as to what works for us and what doesn't work for us. So if I just pull up my little diagram here, you can see that there is this sort of semicircle. It's like a horseshoe shape. And this area here is going to be your idea, your goal. So maybe for the new year, you may think, right, you know, I need to try and lose weight. I really want to get my hormones under control. And I really want to feel great for 2021. And that's a fantastic goal. What happens is when you have these sort of like, feeling of a bit of motivation to do something, things start coming into your psyche that you see and you think, I love the sound of that. I'm going to have a go at doing that. So I'm just going to give you an example. Let's just say it's the keto diet. Everybody thinks the keto is the right thing to do at the moment, and you see all these people with amazing results, and it's like, well, if it works for them, it's got to work for me. You get the book, you get the diet, all the ingredients you need, you try and get to it. So you have your idea, let's say keto, you then actually start it. You are motivated, especially in that first week. You've got a lot of motivation to just make this work because actually you've tried loads of other things and this is it this time. What happens is you get onto something like this and it is a complete change for you. So it is a complete lifestyle change in terms of what you're eating and what you're supposed to do in order to make sure it works for you. And you will hit a wall. Now that could happen after 2 days, it could happen after a week, it might happen after 2 or 3 weeks. But you hit this point where you actually realise it's not that easy. And you're sort of like coming into this bit down here where actually it's quite hard. You're suddenly thinking, this is not easy to sustain. And there's loads of reasons. It could be that, you know, you're really busy at work. It could be that the children need you. It could be that you've got a holiday coming up and actually you're not going to be able to stick with it because nobody else is going to be on it with you. I mean, I could come up with a zillion reasons as to why you can't come up. And then what happens is at this point, which we call a bit of a valley of doom, is it's just hard. It's not something that you're used to doing. It's not a habit. So you're thinking, how am I going to sustain this? And in fact, there's that chimp in the back of your head that goes, actually, it's just not working. You're not seeing the results that you were promised. In your mind, you had the results happening for you a lot quicker. And so what happens is this little line here, see this dotted line comes up here? You start thinking, oh, what else could I do that may be a bit easier than this that I can do? Oh my gosh, my friend's on Weight Watchers. I'm going to have a go at Weight Watchers. It'd be much easier because she's doing it as well. But then the whole time you're on Weight Watchers, you're calorie counting. So you're hungry the whole time because you're looking at what you can't eat and calorie counting and waiting for your free points, I think it is, to keep you going. And then you have to do your weigh-in each week and it's like, oh no, I've had a bad week. They're going to catch me out. And actually, it gets hard again. So do I carry on or do I find something else? I know, Slimming World. Now, if this sounds like you, where you've started something before and you've seen all the results that you should be getting, but actually it just doesn't work for you, there are probably a few things that are happening. A lot of the time, when you're starting something new, anything new, it is actually difficult because you're not used to it. You haven't done it repetitively for much time. All the habits we've got into, all the bad eating habits, all the lack of exercise, all the things that we don't do, we've caused that habit over years. We have been sort of formulating the way we are right now over years. It hasn't happened overnight. It probably started from childhood, you know, where you've started giving yourself a treat when you fell over. And actually the way you now comfort yourself is to have a treat. So to stop that, it just feels alien. Your emotional side is not supported. And so it's your emotional side that usually sabotages any sort of real motivation that you have. And motivation only actually lasts for a very, very short space of time. You need to see results. Then your brain goes, oh, it's working for me. So in order to get past this, it does need a bit of discipline. It needs to recognise, you need to know that if you do something consistently for a period of time that's positive for yourself, and it happens the same way negatively, so you know that if you consistently eat badly, then there's a good chance you could get diabetes, you could get heart disease. And likewise, if you do something consistently, little steps each day towards helping yourself, you will actually start to see some of the results that you want to see. And when you do that, you start getting to this point here. Make sure I've hit the right side. Yes, it might be hard, but somehow you can actually start seeing and feeling, it's the feeling that you're feeling better, that you're getting the results you want. And you can put this to anything, whether it's a work thing, whether it's a personal health thing. You know, you can actually see that if you do something consistently for a few more days, it actually starts to make you feel better. And at some point in the future, you will actually find that because it works for you, you will be able to form that as a new habit. And actually, it's not hard anymore. Once it's a habit that you actually enjoy doing, when you actually make it something that you can see the results from, that you feel really good from, you can sustain it. So this is a pattern that happens for all of us, for all things. I'm just going to pop that down. For all things that we go for. Anything we start, whether it's a new job, whether it's a new diet, whether it's something that isn't that we do on a day-to-day basis and is new, is not easy. And so I can give you the example of when I do the 21-day Kickstart program. I decided to do 21 days because 21 days, it's not too long. And if you've got a really low headspace, you can't think further forward than literally 1 week at a time when you're in a low space. And somebody's saying, oh, you know, let's do a 12-week program. You know, it's overwhelming. So, you know, we start on 21 days. And, you know, motivation will work for the first 3 or 4 days. And that's what I need people to stay on for 3 or 4 days, because then the sugar is reduced in your system and your hormones start to balance a little bit more. By day 7, you actually see some feeling of, you know, better. You feel a bit better as long as you can put those little practices in place that we've got. By day 10, you're actually thinking, I don't know, I've got a few things that are happening and I'm not seeing the results as quickly. But because we've got a WhatsApp group, we support each other and you're not just left to it by yourself. You actually then are encouraged to get forward, and then suddenly you're at day 16, and day 16 to 21 just seems to go by like that. And then you do a check-in with yourself. We do some measurements and checks and all sorts of things just to see where we're at. And usually by day 21, you will find that everything that you were really having problems with have really balanced. And what's good about that, it means that you can then start making some really good decisions for yourself going forward. Now, some of you are brilliant at making decisions, going with it, trying it out and sticking with it. I've seen a few of you who've said that you made a decision, you were going to research, find out what works for you, and you've stuck with it, and over the last couple of years it's really, really worked. And it is that discipline of just finding something that works for you. So it doesn't have to be the 21-day Kickstart, but that's just as an example. But what I would say is, when you choose something that you want to do for 2021, for your New Year's resolutions, for you, really be honest with yourself about what you think you can do. And then you also need to put in place things that will stop you from backtracking and for going back to doing this, oh, it hasn't worked, I need to go back to a new idea because these things don't work. Because actually, most things that you do, if you carry them on and you're consistent with them, they will work. It's just maintaining them. Now, the reason why diets don't work is because a diet is usually something that your brain sees as something that you're suffering doing. It's never promoted in a way that, you know, you can do this for the rest of your life. This is something that you do for a period of time, whether you're trying to get into a wedding dress, whether you're trying to get to a special event that you really want to feel fabulous at. You know that you can put your mind to something and stick with it, maybe 6 weeks, if you're lucky, 12, if you're lucky. That most people, it's sort of like, it's a fact, it's actually been scientifically proven that 95% of all diets fail within the first month, you know, because they cannot be sustained for whatever reason. Now, I'm sure there are going to be those of you who have proven different, and if that's the case, I'm really thrilled for you. But so what we need to try and do is think about what lifestyle things can we do that will just help us. And so you've seen me in a previous video say, please try a 28-day journal. Write down each day how you're feeling, because in a month you can then see where your areas are where you actually know that you might self-sabotage, you know, whether that's suddenly, you know, when I come to the time of the month, if you're still having periods, that's the time that I need to have a treat. Well, then you need to put into place, what could that treat be that's not chocolate, crisps, processed food, takeaway, whatever that is, no fizzy drinks. What can it be? But something that's tasty, lovely, and if it's got to be something edible, what can that be? And that's something that you need to know for yourself. So the reason why I wanted to go into this today is we have got those New Year's resolutions coming up, and it's much easier for you to look forward. Don't look backwards as to what you've been suffering with. Let's look forward and see how we can start feeling better. That's the whole point of 50 Shades of Menopause, is find out what works for you and let's help you get there. So just remember, in the topics section, I am posting as quickly as I can different bits of information about everything from weight management is in there at the moment. We've done hot flushes and how you can hopefully manage those. Even things about aching joints and muscles, how you can, you know, avoid those. There's a workout in there for you. And I will be putting on something with exercise and movement in it for you to have a go at over the next couple of weeks, so that you can just dip into it, see what works for you. But 2021, let's make that a year where you're finding yourselves, where you actually know what's going to work, and hopefully that you can sustain something that really will work for you. If you are interested in my 21-day kickstart, it starts on the 4th of January. You are not obligated. This is just giving you the information. Some of you will need that additional support to get you to where you want to be. And, you know, for 3 weeks, that's what you can just commit to. So you know by the end of January, you're going to be in a much better headspace. But if you can do it alone, then just, you know, make that diary up of what's happening to you. What do you want to do? Focus on those forward goals and just make sure that you don't do this great idea and then get to this bit, because you know it's going to be a little bit tough. You know it's going to be. There is no magic tablet. I wish there was. But you know that toughness only comes with where you're fighting it, where you're not going with it. So when you actually accept, go with it and try things, then you will actually find that things are much easier and they suddenly become part of your DNA much quicker than you realise. Anyway, I hope this has helped you girls. It's just something I just wanted to touch base on. It's definitely a mindset thing, and I think we should get some real positivity going for coming up for Christmas. It's such a special time of year, and then going into a new year, which let's hope is going to be so much more positive for all of us and all our hormones. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back on here very soon. Take care. Bye.